Alrighty, guys, we have for the plaintiff, Mr. Abrams. We have Carrie as the witness. Matt is the judge. This time we are going to be doing 160. I am in direct examination. Take it away, Judge Sklar.
Ready? May I have the red book, please? Go ahead, counsel.
Ms. Welch, have you ever testified in a case before?
No, I am not.
Are you a little nervous?
Yes.
Okay, we will start out with some stuff that is fairly easy. First of all, Ms. Welch, can you tell the court and jury what role or position you had in connection with the issuance of the first specialty umbrella, the $10 million umbrella policy?
Excuse me, counsel, before we begin with each witness, I think it would be helpful to the jury if you could, in a single sentence or two, tell the jury why it is you are calling the particular witness and who he or she is in the entire sequence of events.
I would be pleased to. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Welch is the person who prepared the policies, the guidelines, and was the person who approved the issuance of the insurance policy that is at issue in the case, the $10 million umbrella policy. She was, at the time, in charge of the program at First Specialty that issued umbrella insurance policies.
Thank you, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Ms. Welch, what is your, having just given that explanation, what was your role in connection with the issuance of the policy that is at issue in this case?
I was actually the underwriter that approved the particular policies in question.
Okay, and we are going to get into a lot of that in a few minutes, but I would like to start so the court and jury knows a little bit about your background. Where do you live, Ms. Welch?
I live in Cumming, Georgia, which is about 50 miles north of Atlanta.
Are you a college graduate?
Pardon?
Are you a college graduate?
Yes, I graduated from the University of Cincinnati in Ohio. That's where I was born and raised.
Okay, did you get involved in the insurance business then after college?
Yes, directly out of college, I entered into a training program for commercial insurance.
Okay, and can you just briefly summarize for the benefit of the court and jury just what your background has been in insurance, the various jobs you have had, the various employers you have had in that regard?
Well, counsel, that is going to call for a narrative that could be anywhere from 5 minutes to 3 hours. So let's focus, and you can lead during this part.
That's fair enough. Did you get training as an underwriter out of college?
Yes, I did.
And what kind of training was that?
I entered a 3-month training program to learn all lines of insurance for the Insurance Company of North America in Philadelphia in an apartment. You stayed there. It's kind of like you went to school. You took tests, so you learned everything there was to know, had the different types of insurance, personal, commercial, auto, umbrellas, everything.
Ms. Welsh, a little slower if you would.
Okay.
Now, as part of that process, then, did you continue to work in the insurance business for Insurance Company of North America?
Yes, I did.
And how long was that employment?
I worked for the Insurance Company of North America for 5 years after the training.
Okay, and what was your position there?
I was a multi-line, meaning multiple types of insurance coverage for 5 years.
Okay, and were you an underwriter?
I was an underwriter, yes.
Okay, now did you move on to another employer after that?
I did.
And was that also in the capacity as an underwriter?
Yes, it was.
Can you explain for the court and jury briefly what you were doing and who that employer was?
I worked for a company by the name of Great American Insurance in Cincinnati in a unit that was called Division 29. It was for Japanese businesses and Japanese nationals that came to the United States. My accounts were like Sony Corporation, Mitsu, Sharp, Sanyo, but I did that for all lines of insurance: property, liability, auto, workers' comp, umbrellas, personal lines, as well for the Japanese.
So were you working and functioning as an underwriter as well for Great American?
Yes, I was.
After you were working for Great American, did you continue to work in some capacity in the insurance field?
After Great American?
Maybe you can explain. Was there more work you did for Great American in addition to this work for Japanese nationals?
Yes.
What was that place?
After working with the Japanese business for 2 or 3 years, then I moved into the home office as a referral underwriter. That means that the branch offices that have work that's over their authority, they send it in to me.
Okay, and how long were you in that position as a referral underwriter?
2.5 years.
Okay, and then what, just briefly tell us, what was your employment after that?
Counsel, again, you can walk her through it and read it.
Okay, that's fine. And Ms. Welch, did you continue employment then in the insurance business from Great American?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and was that with Agricultural Excess Insurance Company?
From Great American, I was actually turned into an agent, if you will, setting up an underwriting business within an agency's office and became an agent and a producer.
Okay, were you also an insurance broker then for a while?
Yes, I was.
Okay, and who was that for, please?
That was with Alexander and Alexander in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, and how many years did you actually work as an insurance broker?
A little over 2 years.
Okay, and then did you continue your employment in the insurance field?
Yes, I have been in insurance for over 30 years, so
And did you go back to underwriting?
yes, I did.
And was your job underwriting for an excess and umbrella company?
Yes, it was for agricultural excess. So I went from Atlanta and then back to Ohio, where my family was, and became a liability umbrella property underwriter for a branch of Great American Insurance.
Did you have an opportunity in that job to develop forms and policies and procedures for a program that offered umbrella insurance?
Yes, I have developed.
No, the question is yes, and you have answered that. Next question.
Okay, and as part of that process, can you just briefly describe what your work was in terms of developing the forms and the guidelines and the agreements that allowed?
Calls for narrative, counsel. Lead the witness.
Yes, sir. Ms. Welch, as far as these documents you prepared as part of your work in the insurance business for agricultural excess, were these the sorts of papers that were necessary to allow the existence of, for example, a managing general underwriter to write insurance coverage?
Yes, they were.
Did these include policies, forms,
Yes,
and guidelines,
yes,
and operating authority?
yes.
Okay, now after Agricultural Insurance Company, did you go to work for First Specialty?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and what was your work at First Specialty similar to your work at Agricultural Excess Insurance Company?
No, it was not.
Why don't you tell us how then it was different, please?
Okay, I was contacted by First Specialty in Atlanta from Ohio. I went back to Atlanta again to start up the overall casualty, which means liability and umbrellas for First Specialty, because they did not have that type of an operation within their organization, and they wanted to start that.
Okay, and what year was that?
That was in January 1998.
Now, as part of that process, did you prepare, for example, insurance policy forms?
Yes,
And did you prepare guidelines that were part of that process?
yes, I did.
Okay, now at that time in 1998, was there anybody operating for First Specialty in the umbrella and excess business, any managing general underwriters?
No, there was not.
Okay, and was Windward the first one that came on board?
Yes, they were.
All right, now, do you consider yourself the person most knowledgeable within First Specialty as to the underwriting of the Auto Club of Southern California insurance policies?
Yes, I do.
Now, I want to turn now, Ms. Welch, for a minute. We are talking now about an umbrella insurance policy, and there are certain definitions that maybe everyone is not familiar with. The reference to some sort of graphic or slide help assist you in explaining what some of these concepts are to the jury.
Yes, they would.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, first of all, Ms. Welch, what is an umbrella? Let's start out. Can you tell the court and jury what a primary policy is?
Yes, I can.
And Mr. Lemontre, can we have X3, please?
Before we ask the question, I assume all of the jurors are able to see the chart that is either on the screen at the back of the courtroom or the screen that is to the juror's left. Is there any juror who cannot see? Would you raise your hand? Okay, you may continue. Are these exhibits or just
They are illustrative, Your Honor.
they're not being offered as exhibits?
These are also used in the opening, but of course, we are now offering testimony to firm up some of these things. In any event, Ms. Welch, can you explain to us what is primary insurance?
Primary insurance is the first line of insurance. For example, a building or your home or your automobile. It's your first line of insurance.
Okay, what we have up there on the screen for primary insurance, are you comfortable with that? Does that? Is it primary insurance coverage that immediately applies when there's an insured loss and pays up to a certain amount?
Yes.
Is that a good working definition for you?
Yes.
Okay, now we are here to talk about umbrella insurance, and we've got another kind of statement about what defining umbrella insurance. Umbrella insurance is added coverage that applies when the insured loss exceeds the primary coverage amount and pays up to an additional amount. Is that a good working definition for you?
Yes, it is.
And then there is another term that we may use in the course of your questioning called excess insurance. And again, there is a definition or a statement there. Excess insurance can be added in layers, covering increasingly larger losses. Are you comfortable with that, ma'am?
Yes, I am.
All right, now in the course of insurance, is one of these primary, umbrella, or excess called sleep insurance?